Hello, Internet, and welcome to Coffee Shop Talk. I am your host, John Collins, and today we're going to be talking about Genesis 1. Welcome to the first episode of Coffee Shop Talk. I am very excited to have you along with me. What I would invite you to do is go through and read the whole chapter yourself, and I'm just going to fly over it and hit a few highlights and try to get some conversation going. So why don't you grab yourself a cup and we'll talk. Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Here we see God just anticipating the creation of the world. We see him as a God who creates something out of nothing, and that's a point that happens throughout Scripture. That's a point also as a Christian. You can look at that and know that whatever you're going through, whatever you're experiencing in life, God is the one who can create something out of nothing. If you feel like you don't have enough energy to get through the day, God can create something out of nothing. Or something more serious, if you feel that you have committed too many sins to be in the family of God and to participate in that family, God is the one who can create things in your heart to understand that Christ has paid for that, he has died for that, and that in your heart something can be created out of the nothingness that you feel is there. That's a idea that's throughout Scripture, and we'll definitely hit it along the way. Just wanted to point that out as we go through. All right, so we're continuing to move through the creation of the universe. This is amazing. If you can just understand and imagine with me the universe being created. God is saying, let there be this, let there be that, let there be this, and things are just being created left and right. It's this massive explosion of creation, of creativity, and it's also orderly. So through this chapter, we see that God is a God who is orderly. We see that he is creating all these beautiful things, understanding that they all function according to his logic, according to his way of setting it forth. So we know that two things about God's character is that he can create something out of nothing. In addition, he is a God who loves and has created order. God creates the vegetation. He creates this planet that can sustain life, create life, and create life-giving life. So, for instance, all of these trees that he's creating create the fruit, and the fruit sustains the animals and also sustains humanity, as we'll see a little bit later on. He creates the sun and the moon. He has them rule over the day and the night. God creates all living things, all animals, all bugs, all insects, everything. He's creating it, and he's saying, let the earth bring it forward. Let this livestock be brought forward into life. And then we see here our place in the story. Only 26 verses into it, we see God said, let us make man in our image. I want to pay special attention to that or are right there, that there's multiple people being spoken about here. Let us make man in our image. There's that multiple shows you that the Christian God is a God who is a one God, but he's also many at the same time. So he's a both and this is where you can see that being played out. You also see this relationship that's happening. You have a relationship between God and God. God talks to God and says, hey, let's go ahead and make man in our image. We also have this relationship with God and the earth, and then with God and man happening. So we see that God is relational. We see that God can create something and nothing. And we also see that God is orderly. So we have this little piece of poetry. God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. God has created male and female specifically as different and unique and special. Male and female, he created them. God blessed them. He said to them, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth, subdue it, have dominion over it. Have dominion over all of the animals. Have dominion over all the land. And he said, I've given you every plant that's on the face of the earth, and I want you to take care of it, as well as all the beasts and every bird, everything that creeps on the ground. It's all yours. I've given it to you for food. And so God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning the sixth day. So he had a very busy week. Something else we see here is that the weekly schedule that we're on, where you have 7 days a week. That is something that God initiated, and has been carried through throughout creation to this very day. So we see a bunch of wonderful things here. I'm sure you found some things in chapter 1 that I did not see.
Please don't keep those comments to yourself. Share them below in the comments section. Grab some coffee and we'll talk.